So again, it's like I had all these fears about leaving. I thought I was going to have to use up a lot more savings than we've had to. I thought that my 401k was going to take a dump. I had all these fears, and a lot of them just haven't manifested. Like they were just all in my head. I worried myself up for nothing. The purpose of today's video is to talk about the fact that I am now 1 year in business working for myself as Picture It Personal Finance, and where I'm at with that, how I feel about that, both from a personal perspective and from a business perspective. This is something that I've been excited to talk about for some time. I started thinking about this video a month ago in anticipation of my 1 year anniversary for being in business. And I really thought, okay, what is the number one question that people would ask me? And I think that would be, do you regret? Do you regret leaving corporate? Do you regret walking away from $150,000 a year annual salary to start from scratch? And the answer is no, I really don't. Not even a little bit. I have to be honest with you. I miss my old paycheck. I'll be totally transparent in that I did suffer from the loss of that paycheck, and I did suffer from the identity of who I was in my old position, right? So I didn't realize quite how much I identified or had my identity wrapped up in the idea that I am a tech manager who handles critical systems and makes so much money. Like, I really perceived myself as a successful person because of those achievements. And when I walked away from that, I didn't understand how much of myself was wrapped up in that. So there was some pain and growth in leaving, but I still have zero regrets even with all of that. As a matter of fact, I want to talk a little bit about how great we've been doing. So one of the things I wanted to highlight is that part of how I coach people to do like what I've done is to create for themselves a runway account. The idea of a runway account is that you build up sufficient savings for however long it is you think that it'll be before your business is generating a living wage for you. For me, I anticipated that to be 2 years. So I created with my husband, we saved up for me a 2-year runway account. And this is what we felt like we could lean into so that we wouldn't have to sacrifice our lifestyle in any way. In addition to that, when I received my last bonus from my prior employer, we stuck that in our household checking account, and we just left it in there as cushion so that if anything should come up, we had that extra bit of money in there. That was, I think what we put into the household account was about $13,000. And as of this morning, we still have $3,000 of those dollars sitting in there. And on top of that, we have not touched the runway account at all. Here's the kicker. Our net worth is up $373,000. I was blown away when I figured this out. I really think that a lot of people feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to leave a corporate job. I'm not going to have access to my 401k anymore. I'm going to lose that income. It's going to be really hard. Like, maybe I won't be able to retire when I originally wanted to retire because I'm starting all over in this new career or I'm building up this business. I haven't contributed anything extra to that other than what I rolled over when I left corporate about a year ago, a little more than that. And they have increased, those two accounts have increased almost $100,000. My husband's 401k has increased and he has been making contributions to that. And on top of all of that, our house, you guys know the housing market is bananas right now. So our home value has increased, as has our investment property. So overall, our net worth has gone up almost $400,000 in 1 year across all of these different investments. So again, it's like I had all these fears about leaving. I thought I was going to have to use up a lot more savings than we've had to. I thought that my 401k was going to take a dump. I had all these fears, and a lot of them just haven't manifested. Like they were just all in my head. I worried myself up for nothing. And you guys, the other big thing is I'm making friends. Now, when I moved to Missouri, and you guys know that we moved for as part of our financial plan. I think I have a video on that, and I'll link it for you too. But I bring this up because when we moved here, we moved in 2018. And I really was thinking like, I'm going to get a fresh start in a new place. I'm going to make friends. I feel like I never really accomplished that in Colorado because I focused on my work. And then I'll be honest, I had depression because I lost my parents and I struggled with a little bit of postpartum. And so I never exercised. I never made friends. I just kind of got into my shell in Colorado, and I was determined in Missouri that I wasn't going to make that mistake again. And then we got here and I did it again, but not because I was in depression, but because I just felt drained and tired all the time. By the time I got my work stuff done, I didn't have a whole bunch of energy to try to go like meet and mingle with new people. And so I just stuck to the couple few friends that I had, and of course to my family. Now I am going out and I'm meeting people. I'm chatting up the moms at the baseball games. I am going to people's house. You know, if they have like, hey, I'd like to get to know my neighbor's party, like I show up and I bring a chocolate. I am doing things where I have joined like chamber events, and I'm going and I'm trying to just make my presence known. I'm trying to speak to other female entrepreneurs, especially because I feel like we carry a similar type of, complexity in our lives, especially those of them that have younger children. Now let's shift to the business side. The business side has been really amazing and also really challenging. I've talked about so much of this in my prior videos, but I will tell you that one of the biggest lessons I've learned in the last year is that I need to change who I am. I really have to drop some labels that I believed were core to who I am. Like I've told myself for decades, I'm shy, I'm an introvert, I don't like to be the center of attention, and I am like forcing myself to work against those things. And I'm thinking more along the lines of, who do I have to be for my business to have the success I want it to have? And it turns out I need to be extroverted. I need to be outgoing. I need to be present in the community. These are things that don't come naturally to me. And I'll be honest, there's days where I drag my feet to do it, but I'm starting to reap the benefits of it. And that is what's making me feel better about doing it. A great example and another big lesson is doing the things that make you scared and uncomfortable. For me, that's public speaking. I had to do a presentation at just a small chamber event for one of the local, smaller, satellite communities around Springfield. And I was so nervous. I think I was only speaking to 15 people or so, but just standing up and having to, get my game face on and not having to do it over Zoom and not having to do it, in this sort of virtual way, but physically present in front of these people was hugely uncomfortable for me. I'm not gonna lie, I prayed the whole way up. I was like, Lord, help a girl out. Please help a girl out. And he did. And I think I did really well. I certainly stumbled both in the intro and in the outro of that presentation. But overall, I got through it. I didn't get shaky kneed. I didn't lose my voice. I didn't lose my train of thought. I muscled through. And I'm gonna do it again. Another thing that I really struggled with through this past year is niching. Everybody says pick a niche. If you pick a niche, your marketing will be easier. You'll know who you're talking to. This is the way that you make money is you choose a niche. And I have tried so many times. I know that people are like, just make a decision and stick with it. But it's like, I feel like I make a decision and I feel really good about it. And then somebody comes up to me who is not even remotely close to that niche. And I'm like, how did you find me? Like, how did this come about? And come to find out, they watched a YouTube video and I spoke to them. It's like, of course I'm going to help you. You come in here. But then when I'm working with them, I'm like, oh, I really like working with this person. This is another kind of person that I could work with. I could work with all sorts of people like this. Why am I limiting myself? Is a niche really that important? And I have to tell you, I'm going to go against the grain here. And I'm just going to say that I've given up on the idea of picking a niche. Like at some point I may do it, but for right now, it just is what it is. And if I'm talking and you like what you hear and you want to work with me, you're welcome. Please come. I'm happy to work with you because I don't have a niche. And I honestly am at the point now where I'm not even entirely certain it's required. Well, actually, I am entirely certain it's not required, although maybe it will be when I want to grow to a certain size or when I am ready for my next step. But as far as who I am right now and what my company handles right now, I've just given up on this idea that I'm going to pick one target ideal, avatar and focus all of my messaging directly to that individual. And then lastly, the big lesson, the other really big lesson that I picked up for my business this year was the idea of sales. I thought I would be super comfortable saying, oh, yes, I'm a financial coach. You know, this is how I help people. This is the value I bring. But it didn't come easily to me most of the time. Some of the time it did. But other times I would be speaking with people and I would stumble over my words, or I would feel funny saying it. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it had to do with some of the stuff I mentioned earlier about having such a strong identity wrapped up in my corporate gig before. But I really believe that I spent a good portion of this past year becoming comfortable with the idea that I actually am a financial coach, that it is a legitimate job, that I am legitimately helping people, and I am legitimately making money doing that. And being able to express that to others has been a big deal for me, and being able to attach that to an offer. So in the beginning, I had this weird thing, and I feel like it's something that maybe all small business owners have to process, but I would be like super overzealous in the beginning. Like, you expressed interest in what I do. Let me tell you all about it. And then I would bombard them with my excitement and my zeal and my enthusiasm. And even while I was doing it, I knew it was super off-putting. Like, I was like, freaking shut up. Why am I still talking? Stop talking, Tina. And I couldn't. And then honestly, like at least once for sure, I texted the person the next day and was like, I'm so sorry that I went a little crazy on you. Like, I just get really excited about it, and I haven't quite figured out how to turn when to ramp it up and when to ramp it down, and I don't have full control over that yet. And unfortunately for me, this amazing woman was like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur too. I totally get it. Don't worry, you'll get there. And you know what? Maybe I'll hit you up sometime for some financial coaching advice. And I was like, I'll take that as a not full rejection, although I'm pretty sure it was a rejection. All right, guys, so there you have it. Those were my big lessons that I took away from this past year. I mean, there's actually a lot more that I have thought about and that I could speak about, but those were the ones that really jumped out to me when I wrote the final outline for this video. I want you to know, though, if you have any other questions, I'm happy to address them. Just leave them in the comments below. Please, as always, give me a like. It will help my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a fabulous day. Bye.